Okay, we are rolling. We are rolling, brother. And sisters. Don't forget the sisters out there. On with the show. And it's going to be this is going to be some breakdown, guys. Because there's multiple subjects in this video that I'm going to cover. Within one subject, if that means anything. But we go out with for next week. Manny Pacquiao will step in the ring against Ugas. He will have the stamina. I just have to wind you guys up. Just for, a joke. And he will have the aggression. If we are to believe what, people out of Team Pacquiao have been saying. So he will have the endurance. I'm not going to use stamina. I know you guys get offended. And I'm going to say aggression. I'm brave there because Manny's not around. I have to say aggression if he's here. You get what I'm saying. Listen, you don't become and you don't get to where Manny Pacquiao is in life without being a very smart human being. Not just a great fighter. You don't get to become one of the greatest of all time without being a very smart human being, because there are two things you play in boxing. The fight in the ring and the politics. And, of course, the preparation. Do you know, if you've watched, and it wasn't just today I saw it, I've seen this over multiple weeks now in Team Pacquiao. There's a young sparring guy called A.B. Lopez that has been with Team Pacquiao throughout his preparation for Errol Spence. Right? And this guy is an orthodox fighter. He sparred with Manny Pacquiao in preparation for the Keith Thurman fight. Now, this guy's been saying for weeks before Errol Spence pulled out, I'm just training with Manny. It's a great experience to be around him. Don't you guys be fooled. Manny Pacquiao and his team suspected something all along. That's why that guy was there. That's why Manny Pacquiao had an orthodox sparring partner, just in case an incident like this happens. You see, when you're a guy like Manny Pacquiao, you have to be a step ahead in life. And that is what Manny Pacquiao is. For all his, pleasant demeanor, charity, courageousness, this great... When you're in the room with Manny Pacquiao, you feel like you can talk to him. If you had a problem, you feel like you could sit down and have a discussion with Manny Pacquiao and he'd come up with a solution for you. And he would tap you on the shoulder and basically say, as a father figure role, everything's going to be okay. You wouldn't feel like you're in a room with a destroyer. Now, with Floyd Mayweather, you get the opinion that he might just look through you. With Manny Pacquiao, it is completely different. But don't be confused by it. Manny Pacquiao is a calculated character. Keith Thurman will tell you. On the build-up to the fight, Manny Pacquiao was like, Ronald McDonald or Bozo the Clown. All smiles, all cheers, looked like a harmless soul. But when Keith Thurman got in the ring, you look at Manny Pacquiao's face before the bell rang. He went from Bozo and Ronald McDonald the Clown to Pennywise. A vicious killer. Keith Thurman said that he could sense in the final week to the Pacquiao fight a change in Manny Pacquiao. He was starting to drown Keith Thurman. He had him in the shallow end at the beginning of the build-up. But as the weeks went on, Manny Pacquiao dragged Keith Thurman into the deep end and then drowned him in fight night. So, this A.B. Lopez, he's been in Team Camp Pacquiao all along because they knew something. They knew something. Bernard Hopkins is very suspicious about this thing with Errol Spence. He is not buying it. He is not buying it at all. Bernard Hopkins is also a very smart man, like Manny Pacquiao. Different fighting style, but he's a very intelligent person. His own production company with Oscar de la Hoya. Been there, done that. In fact, him and Manny are the two elder statesmen of the sport that have done miraculous things in advanced ages. Right? But just taking conspiracy theories to the side for a second. Something happened to Errol Spence about the Manny Pacquiao style that put him out there. You wear headgear in sparring, guys, right? For that sort of injury to happen to you, right, means you were struggling very much with that style. Very much. If he was being busted up with headgear on against the southpaw, what might Manny Pacquiao have done in the ring with Errol Spence? Styles make fights. I said this all along. The style of Manny Pacquiao is problematic for Errol Spence. And you know something? Team Spence are also intelligent. They know this. They know it. If Errol Spence, let's just say the injury is honest, right? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. It is still worrying for Team Spence. An impersonator of Manny Pacquiao busted you up, right? And if he is injured, I wish him all the best to recover. I wish no harm on Errol Spence at all, right? But for people saying the PBC are here to set Manny Pacquiao up, as I've said, Team Pacquiao have been through this. That's why A.B. Lopez, the orthodox sparring partner, was in camp all along in case something like this happened. Because I'm going to say something. We may never get Errol Spence v Manny Pacquiao. We may never get Terence Crawford v Errol Spence. You know why? These two guys, if they show up in prime condition, are all wrong for Errol Spence. They are. They are literally his kryptonite. They are his kryptonite. Only age. If Manny Pacquiao turns up as still Manny Pacquiao, I believed he would beat Errol Spence. And if we got 2009 Manny Pacquiao in there, my God, that would be a demolition. Styles make fights, guys. Even an aging Manny Pacquiao past his prime, I said, would still give Errol Spence all he could handle. Even if Errol eventually, because of youth, won, he would still be injured in there in the process because of the styles. Now, you take Terence Crawford, a guy that can fight orthodox or southpaw, a switch hitter, right? and can punch. Underestimated power. Like Manny, the underestimated his power. Errol Spence has trouble with these two guys. He does, right? But the guy we've got in today is Ugas. The guy we will see next week v Manny Pacquiao is Ugas, who is a underrated fighter in my opinion. You know, he's not appreciated enough. And he can fight. He proved that with Sean Porter. He's proved that with, I think, 11 wins out of 12. Some people argue that the Sean Porter fight, Ugas could have won. It could have gone either way. And Sean Porter is seen as a guy that gave Errol Spence all he could handle, right? Sean Porter is sudden, he's strong, he's fast. You know, he has good hand speed. So Ugas, for me, is still a top welterweight. He is still a top welterweight. If Manny Pacquiao beats Ugas, he still climbs up on the rankings for me on the all-time greatness. I mean, again, it goes back to intelligence. Some people are now saying, forget Floyd Mayweather. We know what happened in the ring v Manny Pacquiao, but we also know what happened with Jermaine Taylor and Bernard Hopkins. Jermaine Taylor beat Hopkins twice on the scorecards. But who's the better fighter overall? It's Bernard Hopkins. He just achieved so much more. If Manny Pacquiao beats Ugas, which I'm predicting he will have beaten his own records just like Hopkins did. Except Pacquiao's style, it's harder to look good at that age with Pacquiao's style. He's not a defensive fighter. He's still very offensive-minded. It's extraordinary that his reflexes are still like this and he's able to compete at this level at that age using that style. So it's more miraculous with Manny, relying on speed and reflexes. We saw Roy Jones. He couldn't fight an Ugas at 42. If Roy Jones fought an Ugas at age 42, he'd get iced. We saw him get iced by lesser guys like Enzo Maccarinelli. And Roy Jones is an all-time great. So it's an extraordinary feat that Manny Pacquiao has kept this up for so long against such opposition. And he's fighting the younger guy again. But for those believing that Manny Pacquiao may be robbed in this fight, I'm not so sure, to be honest. The torch to Ugas, age 35. You know, a lot of people have lost faith in Errol Spence after this injury. Whether he's injured or not, that's the perception. There's a lot of people out there that are suspicious. So they're not going to buy into Ugas Errol Spence, guys. The money, Al Heyman is a businessman. Al Heyman, and this has been very cleverly worked by, again, Pacquiao and PBC. Al Heyman was great with Floyd Mayweather in advertising that zero, right? Who can beat Floyd Mayweather? Who could take the zero, right? Who can do it? Now, Manny Pacquiao has already lost in his career, so what do? What is the selling point you can use with Manny? Who can retire the legend? That's what they're branding now. Who can retire the legend? That's now the brand of PBC. It used to be who can take Floyd Mayweather zero. Now it's who can take and retire the legend. It's not about losing. He's already lost. It's about who can put Manny Pacquiao out of the sport. And now people are tuning in to see. Just the same as they were tuning in to see who could beat Floyd Mayweather. It's very clever marketing, It's astute business from both Al Heyman, PBC, and Manny Pacquiao. As I've said, he's not in politics in the Philippines for nothing. That is a tough life, let me tell you. Right? Pacquiao knows the game. He's seen the best of it. He's seen the worst of it with Bradley and Jeff Horn events, hasn't he? So I can't see Ugas. Ugas would have to win really. Ugas would have to really, really dominate, I think, to get the decision in this fight, to be honest with you. Because there is no selling point past this. Pacquiao is the name at PBC now. Because Errol Spence cannot take that torch if he potentially won. Manny Pacquiao, they need him. He has an option apparently for one last fight after this. They're going to take that guy, surely. I mean, stranger things have happened. I could be wrong, and Pacquiao might get robbed of it, but it would make no sense. And I think that Al Heyman does care about the bottom line, shall we say. Yes, he has fighters in his stable he's probably very fond of, he's very close to, but this is a business, and Ugas is getting the chance of his life. So I think Al Heyman will think, no, I've done you good, Ugas, given you the fight. Now it's up to you to see if you can win it. Didn't they also give Ugas the WBA super title, which Manny Pacquiao should still have? You know, so Ugas is not getting a raw deal here. This is, you know, he's had two things go for him. He's got the fight, he's got the belt. He doesn't deserve to be given a robbery victory on top of it. And I can't see that happening if Pacquiao does the business here, which I'm predicting he will. See, Manny has not only been sparring with, in the last couple of days, an orthodox fighter. He has fought mainly orthodox fighters all his life. That is his... Well, that's what he's used to. Do you see where I'm going with this? Yes, Pacquiao would have been down like the rest of us when he heard about the Errol Spence incident, but he was prepared for this, as I've said. I saw Manny in the car in an interview, and he looked, well, to say, his face told a different story to what his words were saying, let's just say that. But after a couple of days, I saw Manny bouncing in the gym, bouncing at Justin Fortune's gym the other day. See, guys at that level, they shake these things off very quickly. You know, and Pacquiao, I think, is more focused now than he's been for a long time. Beating Ugas is still historical because he becomes again the oldest welterweight champion in history. Twice beats his own record. That is something to behold, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. But the victory for this, yes, Sean Porter is sudden. Manny Pacquiao is sudden. Sean Porter has fast feet. Manny Pacquiao has fast feet. Sean Porter has good hand speed. Manny Pacquiao has good hand speed. Sean Porter hits decent. Manny Pacquiao hits very hard. All the things Sean Porter does, Manny Pacquiao, apart from, say, the physical aspect, which Manny won't do much in this fight, believe it or not, I don't think. All the things Sean Porter does, Manny Pacquiao does them, but much better. He hits harder, he's faster feet, he's better feet, right? So, and the head movement. Manny Pacquiao is, Keith Thurman said it, he's a lot harder to hit than Sean Porter. And if you watch Sean Porter v. Ugas, Sean Porter was getting caught repeatedly when he was attacking Ugas and then going out on straight. He was exiting the pocket on a straight line, guys. And Ugas, with his long arms and accuracy, was able to catch Sean Porter many times in that fight. Here's the thing, Manny Pacquiao does not go back in straight lines. He has an in and out style, but you don't know which angle he's going to come from. People are saying, will Ugas be difficult for Manny to solve? At this age, we have to go by a fight-by-fight basis. We never know when Father Time finally does kick in. But if Manny Pacquiao still has what we believe he has, Ugas is going to be the one shocked. People are saying Manny's not seen anything like Ugas. Manny's seen it all, guys. He's seen it all. It's just a matter of whether he can deal with it now. But Ugas, well, has not seen Manny Pacquiao. He's going to be shocked early. And if he's hurt early, this could be a real upward struggle for Ugas. Let me just tell you that. But all the technicians that gave Manny Pacquiao problems, and they talk about, Eric Morales, who could be a great technician when he was focused, Marquez, Mayweather, they all had much quicker feet than Ugas, guys. Much quicker feet. It's all in the feet, this fight. It's all in the hands and the feet. Ugas's problem, these are the two factors I've picked up on. His upper body doesn't move quick enough for me, and his feet don't move quick enough. That is absolutely toxic against Manny Pacquiao, who will come, throw his combinations, move to sides Ugas maybe won't be prepared for, so Ugas can't catch him quite as easy as he did Sean Porter. Because as I said, Manny does the Porter things, apart from the grappling, better than Porter. He's better technique. He doesn't waste punches. His punches are crisper and harder, right? We forget the ring IQ as well. The boxing savvy Manny Pacquiao has picked up down the years by fighting and beating many of the best. No one tells me that you don't go in a ring with guys like Marquez and Mayweather and you don't learn something. Of course you learn something. Pacquiao is a better thinker. He's not a better athlete than he was at 30. That would be impossible at 42. But he's a better chess player now than he used to be. Again, Keith Thurman said this. Timothy Bradley said this in the last fight. Manny picks his shots now a lot better and is more patient. So, the waste is not there, guys, like it was. It wouldn't be with the economics that you have to put in your body with age. Also, I want you to watch Ugas's last fight that he won the regular WBA world title in. I don't think it was a split decision, to be honest with you. I think Ugas won that clearly, but the judges disagreed with me. He won by very close margins, guys, on the scorecards. And Ugas was the house fighter. You would think that he'd win by a mile, but the judges didn't see it that way. But there's something that happens in the 12th round, and Ugas is lucky that there's 10 seconds left. His opponent, I forget the name, there's so much detail to this video, but anyway, his opponent lands, and you watch the punch he lands. He lands the equivalent of a Manny Pacquiao Manila Ice. A left hook that rocks Ugas to the core. If there was 20 seconds left in that round, it makes you wonder what would happen. That is one of Manny Pacquiao's signature punches. Only Manny Pacquiao hits and uses it much better. And this guy, Ugas, he was being hurt by this guy throughout the fight. Now, if he's being hurt by that guy, Manny Pacquiao can hurt him. So, I think Manny Pacquiao still has too much for Ugas. I think Manny Pacquiao is going to start strong and win some early rounds. I think the first round, funny enough, might be, a thinking round. But then the second and third round, I think Manny will figure him out. In the middle rounds, I think Ugas might have some success. But this will be in the process of the ring rust and Manny figuring Ugas out. But I see in the later rounds Manny Pacquiao pacing this well and stopping Ugas late. I do. He's not as... I would probably favour Ugas over Adrian Broner right now. But he's not as defensively blessed as Adrian Broner. When Adrian Broner gets hit, he shells up then. And you've just got to hit arms, body, whatever, and win on points. Nobody stopped him. Nobody stopped Ugas. But I can see a potential where you do stop Ugas. And when you do hit Adrian Broner's chin, I think AB's chin is better than Ugas. I really do. But as for Errol Spence, that is, 4 weeks, they're saying this thing will heal in. So you're coming back to face Manny Pacquiao, providing Manny wins, after 4 weeks, with an injury like that. Call me skeptical, but I am skeptical. Right? I am very skeptical. Here's another issue that Errol Spence now faces. Providing, and anything can happen in boxing, I always say, always be prepared to be right when you make a prediction. But never be surprised when you're wrong, because this is boxing. But providing Manny Pacquiao beats Ugas, who is a good fighter, and as I said, will give Manny a relative test in the middle rounds. But providing Manny Pacquiao comes through that fight, guess what Errol Spence's team were banking on? Ring rust. That's going to be gone, guys. So you've got Errol Spence rushing back, right? Against a Manny Pacquiao that has just had a good run out with another world-class welterweight, a top 4 welterweight. Pacquiao will be scintillating. It's not good for Errol Spence no matter which way you look at it, as far as I'm concerned. Even if the unthinkable happened and Ugas won, is Errol Spence in any condition to fight any world-class fighter after 4 weeks with an injury like that? I think it's going to need more time to recover, providing, Bernard Hopkins' skepticism is not true. But for me, this is Manny Pacquiao's fight to lose. And I think he's focused. I think he's ready. And another thing, when the press conference comes, the final weigh-in, Ugas is not going to know what hit him. He's never seen anything like this. And again, the smiles and the pleasantries will all be over once Manny Pacquiao stares at him in the ring, the way he did Keith Thurman, and says to Ugas, it's time you give my hardware, my belt back. And I'm going to take it. And he took it against Keith Thurman. And I believe that he's going to take it against Ugas. So it's Manny Pacquiao, a late stoppage. I think he gets pulled out, Ugas. But it's Manny Pacquiao by a late stoppage. The accumulation of punishment, because Ugas, when he is hit, will not shell up, I don't think. He's going to try and answer back. For people that are concerned about the Jeff Horn fight, Jeff Horn's feet are quicker than Ugas. And Jeff Horn jumps in very awkwardly, and Jeff Horn lost. But don't confuse Ugas's feet with Jeff Horn. Here's another thing. Jeff Horn was 5 years younger. He was 29, coming on to 30 when he fought Manny Pacquiao. Jeff Horn was in his absolute prime. Ugas is 35. Can he take that punishment at this age? We'll see. But I think Manny Pacquiao is going to win his title back and make history once again. And this is Champions of Champions Boxing Talk about brothers and sisters.